Imagine your boss walked into your office on Friday afternoon and said, "Good news, you're going to work all night tonight. No sleep, you're staying awake until tomorrow morning." How excited would you be? Probably not very. Now, here's the interesting part. If your body actually needs 8 hours of sleep and you're consistently giving it 6, by the end of the week, you've accumulated enough sleep debt that you're functioning remarkably similar to someone who's just pulled that all-nighter. Think about that for a second. Then ask yourself this: how many women are trying to lose fat, build muscle, improve their hormones, manage menopause, have more patience, make better food choices, and show up for their families while functioning like they never really went to bed? Today, we're going to talk about why sleep may be one of the most overlooked fat loss strategies in midlife. Not because sleep magically burns fat, not because it's some miracle hack, but because you simply cannot expect an exhausted brain to consistently make healthy decisions. And before we're finished, I'm going to challenge you to do one simple thing that doesn't require counting calories, buying another supplement, or downloading another app. It simply asks you to protect something your body has needed every single day since the day you were born. One thing I've noticed over the years, especially working with successful women, is that we have a very strange relationship with sleep. We'll spend hundreds of dollars every month trying to optimize our health. We buy supplements, protein powders, fitness trackers, recovery gadgets, magnesium, electrolytes, the list goes on, blue light glasses, maybe even a cold plunge or a red light panel. Then we'll stay up until midnight watching Netflix or answering emails, scrolling social media, or folding one more basket of laundry. We've become incredibly sophisticated about optimizing everything except the foundation. It's like spending thousands of dollars remodeling your kitchen while ignoring the cracked foundation underneath your house. Eventually, the foundation wins. One of the most common things I hear is, "My metabolism must be slowing down." Now, could that be true? Absolutely. As we age, metabolism changes, muscle mass changes, hormones change, activity levels often change. Those things are real. But here's my question. Before we blame our metabolisms, have we ever taken an honest look at our recovery? Because if your body has spent years running on less sleep than it actually needs, maybe the issue isn't that your metabolism suddenly quit. Maybe your body is simply trying to survive. There's a difference. And surviving is not the same thing as thriving. Let's make this visual. Let's say your body genuinely functions best on 8 hours of sleep. Monday night, you sleep 6 hours. You've already borrowed 2. Tuesday, another 6 hours. Now you're 4 hours behind. Wednesday, 6 more. Now you're 6 hours behind. Thursday, another 6. You're now 8 hours behind. And congratulations, by Friday, you've effectively borrowed an entire night's sleep. Now, imagine someone walked into your office Friday morning and said, "I need you to make great decisions today." Or, "Don't lose your patience," or "Ignore the cravings." And I'd love this one. "Have a fantastic workout. Be productive. Oh, and by the way, lose weight." You'd probably laugh. Yet that's exactly what many women are asking themselves to do every single week. And then we beat ourselves up. Here's what I hear on a daily basis as a coach. "I have no willpower. I need more discipline. I just need to try harder." Maybe, but maybe not. Because after coaching women for more than 30 years, I've become convinced of something. Most people are not struggling because they're lazy. They're struggling because they're exhausted. Those are two very different problems, and they require two very different solutions. Now, let's connect this to weight loss, because this isn't really a sleep lecture. It's a fat loss conversation. When you're chronically tired, what do most people crave? Not grilled chicken and broccoli. They're looking for convenience and energy and comfort. They're looking for something that feels good in the right now. Honestly, that makes perfect sense. An exhausted brain is trying to solve an exhaustion problem. The trouble is, food cannot solve a sleep problem. It can distract you from it for a little while, but it can't fix it. Sometimes the craving isn't actually for food. Sometimes it's for rest. And here's the phrase I want you to remember. Stop treating sleep like leftovers. For so many people, sleep gets whatever time happens to be left at the end of the day. The job comes first. The laundry comes first. So do the dishes, the emails, and let's not forget social media. One more episode, unless you're like me and fall asleep 5 minutes in. One more chapter. One more thing, whatever that is. And then whatever time is left, that's what sleep gets. So let me ask you something. Would you feed your children that way? Whatever food happens to be left over, that's yours? Probably not. Would you pay your mortgage that way? Whatever money is left over, hopefully that's enough. Of course not. Yet somehow we've convinced ourselves that sleep can survive on leftovers. Our bodies disagree. One of the things I hear all the time is this: Coach Jody, I know I should go to bed earlier, but nighttime is my only time. Maybe you've said that to yourself. The house finally gets quiet, the emails stop, the kids are asleep, nobody needs anything from you for the first time all day. Then you finally get a little bit of peace. I understand that. In fact, I think it's one of the biggest reasons so many women stay up later than they know they should. It's not because they don't value sleep. It's because they're trying to reclaim a little bit of themselves. And you know what? I have compassion for that. Though there's one question I want to ask in this scenario. Is borrowing tomorrow's energy really the price you want to pay for tonight's peace? Sometimes the answer might actually be yes. Life happens, but if that's happening night after night after night, eventually the bill comes due. Your body always collects, and it usually collects with interest. Now, let's connect that back to weight loss. Have you ever noticed that when you're well rested, making good food decisions isn't effortless? But it certainly feels easier. Then compare that to a day when you've slept 5 or 6 hours. Suddenly, the drive-through sounds more appealing. Cooking feels like work. Meal prep feels impossible. Your workout gets pushed to tomorrow. You don't feel like walking after dinner. And somehow you end up standing in your pantry wondering what sounds good to eat. That isn't because you suddenly became a different person overnight. It's because your brain is trying to conserve energy. Your body is incredibly smart. It doesn't know you're trying to fit into a smaller pair of jeans. It knows that you're tired. And when you're tired, efficiency becomes the priority. That's why I get a little concerned when people tell me, I'm going to fix my weight first, then I'll work on my sleep. I'd actually argue the opposite. Protecting your sleep may be one of the simplest ways to make every other healthy decision just a little easier. Notice I didn't say easy. I said easier. There's a difference. Here's another observation from my years of coaching. People love adding things like a supplement, another app, another tracker, another gadget, but they rarely ask, what can I stop doing? Maybe the answer isn't another product. Maybe it's one less episode. Maybe it's closing the laptop 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it's recognizing that social media will still be here tomorrow morning. Because here's the truth. Recovery isn't lazy, it's productive. In fact, I would argue that sleep is one of the most productive things you can do if your goal is fat loss, muscle preservation, healthy aging, and showing up as the best version of yourself. Think about it this way. Would you ever expect your phone to function all day if you only charged it halfway every night? Of course not. Yet somehow we expect our own brains and bodies to do exactly that. Then we're surprised when we run out of battery by 3 in the afternoon. One of the most important mindset shifts I ever made personally was realizing that sleep isn't something I earn after everything else is finished. Sleep is part of the work. It's just as much a part of my health plan as protein, not to mention walking, strength training, and hydration. It's not supposed to be separate from those things. It's supposed to support all of them. So here's my challenge for you this week. Don't change your calories. Don't overhaul your macros. Don't buy another supplement or look for another shortcut. Simply protect your sleep. Even if all you can do is add 30 minutes, try it for 1 week. Then pay attention. Ask yourself, how's my hunger? How's my patience, my energy? How are my workouts, my cravings, and my mood? Because I think you may discover something. You don't always need more willpower. Sometimes you simply need more sleep. And if there's one message I hope you take away from today's conversation, it's this. Stop treating sleep like leftovers. Give it a place at the table. Your body has been asking for it every single day of your life. Maybe it's time to start listening. If this conversation made you think differently about weight loss, I'd love for you to hit the like button and subscribe. I'm here every week helping women over 40 cut through the noise with practical, science-based nutrition and health strategies that actually fit real life. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. When life gets busy, what's the first thing you sacrifice? Sleep, exercise, nutrition, or something else? There's no judgment here. I'm genuinely curious. And if you're tired of feeling like you're still doing everything right, but still struggling to lose weight, I'd love to help. You can reach me directly at jody@wright-sizedwellness.com, because sometimes the biggest breakthrough doesn't come from doing more. Sometimes it comes from finally recovering enough to let your body do what it's been trying to do all along. Until next time, do good, have fun, be well.